Hello, and thank you for watching this video, which will give you an idea of what to expect when we meet on Sunday, November 2nd, to begin to set the top 10 priorities in the respiratory care of people with neuromuscular disorders, part of the Priority Setting Partnership. My name is Tamara Rader, and I'm an advisor with the James Lind Alliance. We'll be following the James Lind Alliance process to set these priorities. And in this presentation, I'll give you some background to the James Lind Alliance. By the end of the presentation, you'll have a better idea of the format we'll follow at the workshop on Sunday. The priorities of people with conditions and the priorities of people who treat those people and take care of them can be very different from researchers. In this workshop, we will focus on your views as people with direct experience, either personally or professionally. The James Lind Alliance, or the JLA as we call it, partnerships aim to make sure that those with direct experience will have a say in future research in the area. The three guiding principles of the James Lind Alliance process are equal opportunity to provide a balanced inclusion of different perspectives, transparency of the process, and a commitment to adding to the evidence base, so we won't be prioritizing things that have already been answered by research. You should also watch Dr. Lena Shaw's presentation about how we got to this point in the presentation. It'll be the other link in your meeting materials. You'll notice in the biographies that we've shared and also in the surveys that led up to the workshop, the inclusion of people with neuromuscular disorders, their family members, caregivers, and their healthcare providers of all different disciplines. You can learn more about those folks by reading over the biographies of the people, as I mentioned. You might be asking yourself, who is James Lind? He's a historical figure. He's a pioneer of naval hygiene in the Royal Navy, and he's often credited that he's conducted one of the first ever clinical trials, and he developed the theory that citrus fruit cured scurvy. Lind argued for the health benefits of better ventilation on naval ships, improved cleanliness, and below-deck fumigation, all things that he learned by observation as a clinician in his work. And through his name and the name of the James Lind Alliance, we celebrate those with direct experience and direct observation in their healthcare condition and the people that they care for. And so with that, we'll take that attitude forward as we examine the research priorities on this workshop and decide which ones should go into creating the top 10 list. So we're here, or we will be at November 2nd, to agree on the top 10 most important questions for research about the respiratory complications in neuromuscular disorders. And you may find it hard to rank those and choose your top ones from the list that we shared, but I'd urge you to do so, and we'll be reviewing those and sharing those at the workshop. We'll be working with the questions that have come from people with lived experience, their families, and also any kind of healthcare professionals who take care of people with neuromuscular disorders. And our goal at the workshop is to create a shared list of priorities for research based on people with direct experience. The workshop will be a combination of whole group sessions where I'll share information with you and check in with you as a whole group, and a series of small group sessions to rank the questions and come to consensus on their priority. There'll be a mix of participants, there'll be a facilitator, and you might have an observer in your group as well. There'll be breaks throughout. And we hope on November 2nd to finish in 2.5 hours time, so 2.5 hours, and then we'll meet again on November 5th for part 2 of the workshop. I think at this point, most of us know a lot about working on Zoom and how it goes. So I know you will be familiar, but a couple of reminders. If you're not speaking at the workshop, you can go ahead and put yourself on mute. If you want to share something in a small group or in a large group at the workshop, you can use the raise hand feature or just simply wave your hand and I'll try and call on you, or your facilitator will. The chat feature will be available, and I know that some people prefer to communicate via the chat. As much as possible, we'll try and avoid side conversations, but we certainly welcome people to use the chat function if they want to elaborate on a point, if they want to clarify something, or if they feel that they want to ask a question that somebody else, perhaps the facilitator, could read out for them. So please do feel free to use the chat at the workshop. Most people find it useful to have gallery view enabled so that you can see all the faces on the screen. So that would be another recommendation. And if you get cut off for any reason, if you drop off the call, just use the link, the same link that you came onto. Manasa is going to be there, and her details are on the agenda, and she'll be providing any support if you have trouble with Zoom. Sometimes the conversations could be a bit distressing or remind you of a time that wasn't the best. And so I want to let you all know that Dr. Lena Zhao is also available for emotional support. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody or if you want to reflect on something at the workshop, you can let your facilitator know or just send a message to your facilitator on Zoom, and we can put you together with Lena to have a conversation and to address any needs that you might have. And saying that, it is a very interactive process. There's a lot of discussion and dialogue and also listening. If you want to take a break at any time, please feel free to do so. You can just let us know that you're on break. There are several breaks scheduled throughout the workshop, so hopefully that will be adequate, but by all means, take a rest when you need to. Your role at the workshop is really to make sure that we understand your views and that you're able to share what you think the future research priorities should be. We're asking everyone to work in partnership with each other, to respect different opinions, and to work with the questions just as they're written. So you might see a question and you wish it included another concept, or you might be tempted to suggest that questions should be merged together. And I think those points are very valid. And I would ask you to hold those thoughts, make those notes, and share with the research team in the evaluation form afterwards. So for the purpose of the workshop, we'll be working with the questions in their current form, but there's certainly an opportunity to tell us your preference if you think something should be merged or reworded. And finally, we're asking everyone to respect confidentiality. What you might hear personal or professional information at this workshop, and for that reason, we'll just keep those conversations limited to our workshop. And I'll ask everyone also to please keep the final list confidential afterwards until the research team is ready to launch it. By all means, let people know that you took part in the workshop, but please don't share the final list until we're ready. And finally, a word about group decision making. This can be quite challenging sometimes, so we're asking the group to be pragmatic. You might find yourself compromising on some things and making space for other people's viewpoints to also be represented on the final top 10 list. And when you're thinking about that and applying that pragmatism, I do want to say that all the questions will be published. Nothing on this list will be lost. And these will all be available to researchers, to funders, to people who are interested in this topic. If you have any concerns whatsoever, please talk to me, Tamara, your facilitator on the day, or Munasa or Lena. Before the pandemic, we would have all been together in person doing this, but since then we've been able to modify the workshop to be able to do this online. But I do like to show these photos because it shows the working together and everyone happy at the end with a completed top 10 project. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you on November 2nd on Sunday so we can set these priorities. Thank you so much.